How's it going, everybody? For today's beer review, we're going to be taking a look at Lagunita's Brewery's Cappuccino Stout. So, this is Lagunita's Cappuccino Stout, which sounds absolutely delicious. I have had this once before, but it was quite a while ago, and I don't quite remember very much about it, but I do remember thinking it was good. Just to give you some information, this is one of their limited release bottles. I think you can kind of denote that sometimes if it has a gold cap, because normally their caps are kind of like a forest green, if I'm not mistaken. And this says it is brewed with, wow, I'm going to mispronounce this, Sebastopol's own hardcore coffee is what it says. 9.2% ABV, decently high ABV. You'll definitely be feeling it if you drink the whole bottle. 29.5 IBUs, so not very bitter at all. Going to be probably quite a sweet stout. And let's see if there's any kind of... there's quite a long commercial description. I'll just read it very quickly for you. It says, up until the summer of 2010, we'd always had a little ditty on the side here that was a paean to a good old cup of joe. It was built on the bones of the 23rd Psalm and went something like, coffee is my shepherd, I shall not. But that was where the trouble started. Turns out talking about coffee's happy side on an ale label is verboten now in America. So the things that I am allowed to say about it are that the coffee is delicious, that the ale is delicious, and that together they are not worse than the sum of their individual deliciousness. Most of all, witches are delicious. The label is glued on real well, too. We make darn sure that there are no holes in the glass, and that cap stays put. We are proud of this and wish to brag about it all on this label, which is allowed by law. Thanks, call us. And it has their brewery, I suppose, phone number. So they always have kind of strange, interesting descriptions. I have had this sitting out of the fridge for about 45 to 50 minutes now, and so it's pretty much the perfect temperature to drink a stout. So I will be judging this one straight out of the bottle. No need to let it warm. Speaking of drinking it, I'm going to be drinking it out of my Duvel snifter glass today. So let's get the cap off of here and see how their Cappuccino Stout fares. Alright. Got some foaming action going on. Straight out of the bottle, the color is a kind of a mahogany, reddish mahogany color, actually. I'm going to pour this down the center here. Not a super crazy head potential on this beer. It has formed about a finger of lightly tan colored head. Holding it in the light, it's actually not pitch black like I would expect a stout to be. It's actually just incredibly dark mahogany brown and ruby. The head is decently thick and creamy. The bubbles are pretty small, so it may stick around for a little while. As far as the smell is concerned, huge amount of coffee. It's almost like coffee grounds. Very fresh coffee. Malt. A little bit of medium sweet chocolate. A little bit of milky creaminess. And I actually am picking up the alcohol in the smell too. But mostly, it is a very strong presence of coffee. That's not to say that it's overpowering with the coffee. You can just kind of tell that it's up front, forward, and in your face, such as like Founder's Breakfast Stout. If you ever had that or smelled that before, you know that that beer is just all about the coffee, because they brew it with Kona coffee beans, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. And that's kind of how this is, which obviously is what you expect. It is called a Cappuccino Stout, which I've come to find that those are not something I like to drink every single day. Usually I drink just one of them when I have them, but that's what I'm going to be looking for, is not just coffee, but some nice creamy sweetness to call it a cappuccino. So anyway, let's give it a taste. It's quite good, very strong on the coffee. The coffee has quite an intense bite. It has that almost that light smokiness that you get with coffee. It's got the full-on woodiness of coffee. Nice sweetness up front. Surprisingly, Not too terribly much bitter in the back. What bitterness there is, it is a coffee bitterness. That aftertaste is straight up coffee. Super warm. Not so much warm of the alcohol, just warm coffee taste. It's kind of hard to explain that to you. There's definitely some alcohol there too, though. It's definitely what it says to be. It is a cappuccino stout because there is a good amount of sweetness and there is a strong amount of coffee. Am I a huge fan of this style of stout? I mean, it's good every once in a while. I prefer my stouts to have more than just coffee. I like them to have, vanilla and chocolate and breadiness and biscuitiness and even bourbon barrel aging. Please and thank you. But this is good. This would make a pretty fine breakfast substitute, for your coffee, as long as you're not going anywhere or drinking too much of it, right? It's kind of like Founders, though. The taste of it over time would become almost exhausting to your taste buds. It's definitely a sipping beer, a very slow sipper. It is something to be savored and not drank quickly or a huge amount of, and it could definitely be shared. I don't see myself drinking this entire bottle. I'll probably share it with somebody. But as far as a rating is concerned, I feel comfortable giving it about an 8. I think an 8 out of 10 is where it stands with me. It's very good. It is not absolutely jaw-droppingly amazing, but it's not just okay either. It is definitely of a good quality and a higher caliber, so I would call it a very good beer. Definitely something to pick up. I have actually had mine sitting in the cellar for a little while now. Let's see. June 26, 2014 is what I've written back here. And, it's been sitting for about, 5-6 months, something like that. And it's aged pretty well. It tastes how I remember it tasting. So I think you'd probably do fine to age this and not so much age it, but just set it back into the moments right when you're wanting a coffee substitute, really. This would be awesome by a fireplace or something like that, or with a more sweet dessert-oriented breakfast, or really just with dessert. You have your dessert with your coffee. This would be great then too. But anyway, that has been my review of Lagunita's Cappuccino Stout. Hope you guys enjoyed the beer review as always, and stay tuned for the next one.